and they win the NFC South.
What's good, everybody? Let's talk some Tampa sports. This is not going to be a post-game show. I'm not going to be on here yelling, screaming nonsense. This is going to be a day after therapy session. That's what this is. I'm going to talk about the negative of this team. I'm going to talk about the positive of this team, kind of jumble that up, and tell you guys where I'm standing right now. We all have our own opinions about where this team currently sits at 6-5 with the remainder of the season ahead of us. Some of you fire Bulls and light. Maybe some of you only fire Bulls. Maybe some of you only fire the special teams coordinator. Maybe some of you are saying we still have the whole season ahead of us. We'll be all right. There's a whole array of spectrum, and that's what I tried to gather with this poll that I posted earlier today. So I said, well, y'all, after sleeping on that embarrassing Bucs loss, how are we feeling? And the two top ones, let's go ahead and give this a refresh in case anyone else voted. All right, so the number one is not ready to clean house, but we are in trouble. Completely understandable. The Panthers are right behind us. This is a huge Monday night game tonight. Panthers versus 49ers. Second place is we were expected to lose. Nothing has changed. I can respect that. 3 at 23% is I'm pissed off. Fire everyone. I respect your opinion. Like I said, we all have opinions on this. It's not where I'm currently sitting at. And then at 10%, everything is still in front of us. I'm probably, if I was forced to, it's honestly a difficult poll. I don't really know exactly what I was thinking, but I appreciate your participation. I'd probably lean here. And if you give me 2 days to really get this loss past me, I'd probably end up here. That's just me. I mean, I feel like a lot of people come to me, at least my videos, my platform, sort of an optimist, but I'm an optimist that watches film. I'm an optimist who's real about the team and comes on here on a Monday and is disgusted with that loss. It's not just, that was horrible, next. And I talked about how good the Rams were in that video I had last week. I didn't do like a full set of videos like I normally do. It was a busy week for me last week, but I ended that video with, this is the least confident I will be going into a game this season. And yeah, that kind of turned out to be correct. A correct lack of confidence. Of course, I wake up on game. I'm a fan. I'm a fan to the core. I wake up on game day. I don't care if this is the dirt cutter Buccaneers going up against the Legion of Boom of that time. That might be a bad example because I remember being at Ray J beating the Legion of Boom with dirt cutter. But that kind of proves my point. Any given Sunday, I will wake up on Sunday, find a way to be amped up, ready for the Bucs to get a win. That's what I do as a fan. But during the week, yeah, I can look and analyze and be like, not quite confident in this one. And I wasn't confident against Los Angeles. And yeah, 34-7, embarrassed on primetime. And it hurt even worse because I said in the video, this was our final chance against a top contending team. The rest of the schedule, we'll get into it. Yeah. This was our last chance against a top contending team. And I wanted to win, but getting embarrassed hurts. And then on top of the fact, I kind of had the momentum from that big news coming out of NFL Network. Started with Chris Godwin is returning Sunday Night Football. Let's go. Bucky Irving should be back against the Cardinals. Mike Evans, way ahead of schedule, looking to return. Kalijah Kancey, way ahead of schedule, looking to return, maybe even before the playoffs. We were thinking, like, originally when it happened, he might be back if we make it to the NFC Championship game. He might be back before the playoffs, potentially. And then Jalen McMillan expected return in December. So I had that momentum. I'm like, oh man, the cavalry's coming. Last night hurt, man. That was bad, y'all. That was bad. That showed us, that showed the nation the difference between where the Bucs sit right now and where the Rams sit, who are the top team in the NFC. What that front seven looks like versus this front seven. What that offense looks like, play calling and everything, versus what this offense is looking like right now. At this point in the season, clearly just two opposite sides of the spectrum when you're talking about where teams are sitting momentum-wise, where teams are sitting at just the way they click, the way they gel, the way they call plays, the way they're in sync, the way they're communicating, completely different ends of the spectrum. So, yeah, I'm frustrated. Not ready to fire everyone, and I'll get into why. I'm going to give my reasoning. It sucks. Baker getting hurt. Seeing him in a sling on the sideline, it hurts. It hurts. As someone who invests a lot of money in this team, going to games, buying jerseys, traveling across the country, yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun to watch that embarrassment on primetime, to watch our quarterback hurt and hurting throughout the first half, and it just coming to a collapse. Coming to a full collapse. Once again, in front of the entire nation. Thank goodness Baker's x-rays came back negative. They're not even ruling him out for the game against the Cardinals. That's probably the best news you can take out of last night, is that the coaches, front office better be happy that Baker's x-rays came back negative. That's all I'll say. So let's kind of get into where we stand, kind of start this therapy session. I know a lot of you guys, maybe not a lot, but there's a handful of you guys who are ready to maybe fire Bulls and Jason Light. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless some major collapse happens. And what we're currently sitting at right now, it's not a major collapse. It's eye-opening, that's for sure. Maybe not who we thought we were, that's for sure, but it's not a major collapse. And the Glazers definitely aren't doing something during the season. So that's a conversation that will have to wait until the end of the season, when you see how things play out. And that's just, I guess that's just the person I am. I let things play out. Because what are you going to do mid-season? Promote Josh Grizzard? No. Negative. That's how you lose a locker room. Let's first up talk about the facts, just so we can have some backing of what's going on. First fact is that this is the third year in a row that we are dealing with one of these mid-season lulls. This one's coming a little bit later in the season than normal, but we are right here in this mid-season lull. Fact number 2 is that the Bucs started 5-1, and we're one of the best teams in the NFL. Thought to be. And that was not just by us with our biased rose-colored glasses. That was nationwide. You look after that 49ers game when the Bucs were sitting at 5-1, Baker was playing at an MVP level. You look at any of the power rankings from any of the major platforms, Bucs were either 1, maybe 2. Majority of them had the Bucs at 1. This was a nationwide consensus that, whoa, this Bucs team is a contender. And that was with Gedeke missing time. Worst missing time. Bucky was out at that point. Mike was out at that point. Godwin missing time. Cansey was out at that point. Cody Mock was out at that point. Like, a lot. Jalen McMillan obviously still hasn't seen the season. There's been a lot that this team has dealt with. And through 6 games, a lot of people had them as the best team in the NFL. That alone is crazy. From there, the situation has kind of flipped. We saw the Bucs win a lot of close games during that 5-1 stretch. And I do not want this false narrative of they haven't beaten anybody to continue to spread, because that's just not true. It's just not. The Bucs have played 8 teams above 500 up to this point. They're 3-5. It's not pretty. I don't think it warrants you to be considered among those upper echelon teams. But the fact that they haven't beaten anybody good, the fact that people are saying they can't beat anybody good, it's just a false narrative. It's not true. And once again, they were beating these teams with an insane amount of injury. So, next fact is the Bucs have lost 4 of 5. 3 in a row. Coming off of a bye week. 4-5, 3-0 coming off of a bye week. Defense has been horrible. There's just not really any way to sugarcoat that. There's not. And the final fact is that the Bucs are going to be favored in at least 5 of their last 6 games. That's a fact. They might be plus 1.5 at Carolina. That's it. They'll be favored in at least 5 of their 6 final games of the season. Which, let's say it plays out in that direction and the Bucs win 5 of their last 6 like they've done the last 2 seasons, where they have a midseason lull and they continue to just hold tight in the locker room, say, we got this, we'll turn it around, and go on a run to end the season. That will put the Bucs at 11-6. 11-6 with a home playoff game. Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at these last couple seasons where the Bucs have gone on these mid-season lulls and see just what we can take out of it and what we can compare to this season. We're looking at 2023, where the Bucs finished 9-8 on the regular season. This was, one of the most healthy Bucs teams I've ever seen. Baker, there the entire season. Rachaad White, starting running back, there the entire season. Offensive line, there the entire season. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, pretty much there the entire season. The defense, pretty much there the entire season, outside of Carlton Davis missed a little bit of time. Jamel Dean missed a little bit of time. This was a very healthy Bucs team, led by Todd Bowles, with Dave Canales leading the way offensively. Okay? And it was ugly. This was an ugly 9-8. You squeaked out 2 wins, 21-18 and then 9-0 against a 2-15 Carolina Panthers team. You had a loss to a bad New Orleans team. You had a loss to a bad Falcons team. It's not like this year. It's just not. The Bucs are currently sitting at 6-5 and have played a way tougher schedule than this. Sure, there's Detroit, there's Buffalo, there's Philly. San Fran was pretty good that year. That's about it. What was Green Bay at that time? That's the wrong button. What was Green Bay at that time? Maybe we can give that as another tough... No, Green Bay was 6-8 at that time they played the Bucs. So, yeah. It's been a way tougher schedule than it was in 2023, and we were healthy in 2023, and we ended up at 9-8 in 2023. It's not, right now, current situation, it's not as bad as it was in 2023. Now we go to 2024. Last season, with Todd Bowles leading the way, Liam Cohen running the show on offense, and the Bucs finished 10-7. You had the midseason low right here. I think you can contribute that a lot to, first off, some pretty good opponents in there outside of the Falcons, and then you had the injuries to your receivers. But this year, we've dealt with way more injuries than we did last year. Last year, the offensive line, once again, was healthy for the most part. There was a portion of the season where Gedeke missed some time. There was a little portion of the season where Wirfs missed some time. But overall, a lot more healthier than we've been this season. So, when comparing the two, you have a sweep from the Atlanta Falcons against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers this season have yet to lose to a divisional opponent. On top of that, you have a loss at Dallas. Dallas was 7-8 with Cooper Rush starting at quarterback. The point I'm trying to make is the Bucs are beating who they're supposed to beat. The Bucs are beating their division. The Bucs are losing to very, very good teams. Los Angeles, first place in the NFC. Philadelphia, top team in the NFC. Detroit, we got Detroit on the road coming off of a loss. Detroit hasn't lost back-to-back games in multiple years at this point. That was going to be very tough to get a win there. And then on the AFC side, you lost to the top team in the AFC, and then you lost at Buffalo. None of these losses are a loss to a 7-8 Dallas Cooper Rush-led team. None of these losses are against getting 500 put up on you by Kirk Cousins. None of these are that. And once again, the Bucs are dealing with way worse of an injury situation this year than they did those previous 2 years, where they finished 9-8, 10-7. Once again, we are currently at 6-5, and we will be favored in 5 of these final 6 games at least. Home against Arizona, home against New Orleans, home against Atlanta, then you go to Carolina, to Miami, and to Then you have Carolina at home. There's a real world where this team can finish 11-6. I'll give them one loss. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater starts at some point due to injury from Baker. Maybe even 2 weeks he has to start, and we have to squeak one out against New Orleans with Teddy Bridgewater. Who knows? I'll give the Bucs a loss somewhere in here. Still, you end up at 11-6 with losses to all very high quality opponents that you played, heavily injured. Not New England, not Buffalo, not Los Angeles, not Detroit, not Philadelphia. None of those teams were as injured as you were. I know everyone's pretty injured at this point, but the Bucs, you can say that, and I will agree with you. Everyone's pretty injured. The Bucs are probably top 5 most injured, just because not only the amount of injuries, but the players who are injured and the positions they play. RB1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, 4, your edge rusher, your best interior pass rusher, missed both tackles, left and right tackle. You're missing both guards currently. It's just, it's not the same situation. And if Bowles and Light made it through 9-8 healthy, 10-7 mostly healthy, and now they're 6-5 with a completely dismantled team. Yeah, I'm not quite ready to clean house, and once again, that's just my opinion. I'll respect whatever you got to say. Let me know down in the comment section below. I want to hear where the fan base is at. I do. I put out the poll. I want to hear your reasoning behind it in the comments. But yeah, like I said earlier, guys, like, this team can genuinely end up at 11-6. And once again, if they end up at 11-6, beating 5 of these 6 teams here, and you're going to tell me, once again, going back to that NFL Network report, Bucky's going to be back. Chris Godwin, hopefully week after week, can begin to ramp up. Mike Evans ahead of schedule, supposed to be back. Kalijah Kancey, best interior pass rusher, ahead of schedule, supposed to be back. Hassan Reddick should be back at some point. Jalen McMillan should be back in one of these 4 games here. They said he's going to come in back in December. Ben Bredesen should be back at some point. Like, if you're going to tell me we're 11-6 and the Cavalry's coming and we're having a home playoff game, I'm getting amped up for that. That's just me, though. It's a big if, though. And that's why this is what I'm saying in the current moment. Living in the current moment. If the Bucs turn around and lose to Atlanta on Thursday Night Football and then lose at Miami and then they lose their final game of the season at home against Carolina and they end up going 3-3 in the final 6, we're having different conversations around here. 9-8 won't cut it again. This needs to be like an 11-6 type finish. It does. But current state, 6-5, with all these injuries, losses to the teams I've already mentioned probably 5 times at this point. I hate losing 4 or 5, 3 in a row, but these are quality opponents the Bucs are losing to. They're not, once again, losing to Cooper Rush and the Cowboys or getting 500 put up on them by Kirk Cousins. It's not the same situation. It's just not. So I'm going to leave it at that. There's probably not a film session coming tomorrow. I don't think any of you guys need a film session, and I don't need to watch the film to see that, yeah, their front seven's way better than ours. To see that Zion McCollum couldn't cover anybody, to see that our offense just not clicking currently. I don't think we need a film session to see that. I'll try to come up with some video to put out tomorrow, but it's not going to be a film session. So that's going to be it for me. I know I put out the poll, but I do want to hear from you guys. It doesn't matter what side you're on. I'm here to hear you guys out. This is our Monday therapy session. If you want to fire everyone still, let me know why. And if you maybe lean more to kind of just where I'm sitting at right now, once again, no side is right or wrong. We're just all fans and we fan in different ways. Why are you on that side? So let me know your thoughts and comments down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate you coming to my therapy session. Go Bucs.
Hey, hey, Tampa Bay.